Алло. Так,
Ugh, I really want to go traveling. I don't mind where we go,
да.
as long as I have my friends with me.
Закрой рот, пожалуйста. Спасибо.
Isn't that Charlotte?
Charlotte? Charlotte?
I see. So you believe that this warning letter was sent by the Phantom Weasel?
Горностай.
Absolutely. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Phantom Weasel never acts as you expect. He must have faked his own death 10 years ago using a body double. Now that he's back, I'm sure the guards who worked on his case back in the day are in for a headache.
Couldn't agree more. As a journalist, thank you, sir, for your time. Now, whom should I interview next? Huh? Hey! What a coincidence! Fancy meeting you here.
Здорово, подруга.
Perfect timing. So, the Phantom Weasel's latest warning letter. What are your thoughts?
Вообще, в душе не чаю, о чем ты говоришь.
Yeah, this is the first. Huh? Oh, sorry. Yes, this case is from a decade ago. I guess you wouldn't know about it. Well, not to worry. You're in good hands because I'm 10 or so years ago, a phantom thief became active in the court of Fontaine. Known. Oh,
Wow, cool! He sounds like one of those mysterious night murders that you read about in novels.
precisely. Well, except the part where they actually have a good reputation. Our weasel targeted whatever people held dear. He would just as soon steal a necklace from a rich merchant's safe as he would a toy doll given to a commoner child for their birthday. I
Странный
know.
типочек.
The phantom thieves you read about in novels rob the rich to pay the poor, but this guy did not discriminate. Unsurprisingly, this did.
Yeesh.
Not exactly. There's a good chance that the weasel would still be a magician named Caesar fell to his death when the police went through his
Помянем.
personal effects. They found a hoard of stolen loot and gadgets used for criminal activities. And that, sure enough, thefts in Fontaine went down after Caesar's death. But today, 10 years on, the notorious thief has once again issued one. I had to squeeze through the crowd this morning to get a photo as soon as I heard. Here, it's.
А тут написано... За тобой уже едут. Дальше не могу разобрать. Не помню, как переводится.
So, this is the warning letter, huh? Let's see what he wrote. 3 days from now, when evening falls, I shall take from you that which you hold most dear at the
Ну,
opera
почти правильно
house.
перевел.
This is, without a doubt, a clear declaration of criminal intent. After years of what once seemed like an open and shut case has been blown wide open again. But why has he...
Uh-oh. If this thief will steal anything that other people value, does that mean even we might be targeted? Aww. But Paimon doesn't want to get killed.
Okay, the people have spoken. It's clear that... Let's see, I've got a photo of the letter, my interview notes. Yep, that should be enough to form the skeleton of my article. It does feel like something is something exclusive. Who should I
Exclusive.
interview next? I need someone with a more concrete connection to the weasel. Is that who I think it is?
Lini!
Лини! Нет, тебе кажется.
Magic, magician, Caesar, the Phantom Weasel. That's it. Let's go interview Lini.
Лини.
You see, the original Phantom Thief Caesar was a magician too. And what do Phantom Thieves and magicians have in common?
Are you serious?
What? Oh, relax. My journalistic instinct tells me that an exclusive news story is beckoning.
Забытый разбойник.
Wow, Mr. Magician! How did you know which card I picked?
Oh, it's simple. Come closer and I'll let you in on my secret. Magicians have a special skill called telepathy.
Really? Then, what am...
Well, first you need to relax, because I can see that you're...
Aww.
And now you're getting a little flustered. You're trying to find a way to empty your mind, to think of nothing at all. But you snuck out from home today, didn't you?
You can tell?
Of course. Oh, and that's the end of my performance.
All right.
Goodbye. Huh. Huh.
Hey?
Why, hello. We meet again.
Well, why don't you guess?
Oh, please. You didn't believe that spiel, did you?
I'm sure that child would beg to differ. Seemed like
That was nothing more than a little trickery. I made it that, plus the fact that he was the only kid here without his parents, and he looked as guilty as sin. You guys, on the other hand, let me...
Wow. Got it in
Wait, really? His warning letter's been the talk of the town, so I figured that maybe you were asking
Вот
around
ты,
about
блин,
that.
какой везучий парень.
bingo! I plan on writing a column reporting. So, Lini, what are your thoughts on this?
To be honest, it makes me angry.
angry? Why?
Angry.
You read his letter, right? The Phantom Weasel claims he's planning something in 3 nights' time at the
Wait a minute, you don't think he's after...
Well, if he is, then his warning is... And if he's not, the mere mention of the Weasel's name is enough to scare people off. So once the But I've been preparing for this for a long time. I'm not about to let him ruin my big...
Really? So what you're saying is,
To be honest, I'm not sure if I'll emerge the victor.
you're being far too modest, Lini. I think your magic tricks are even more
Thanks for the compliment, though I have to say, I don't care much for the comparison. A lot of people liken magicians to thieves because we both have the ability to make things disappear without the person. Allow me to demonstrate with a quick magic trick. Here, I have a flower, just an ordinary flower that was picked not long ago. Watch it carefully
Вот
now.
такие я использую, чтобы
3,
повысить линет.
2, 1.
Ебать! Блять, он волшебник! Как там было в том меме? Блять, он ёбаный волшебник, мы на волшебника попали. Стоп, покажи левую руку.
It's gone!
That's the question. Where did it go?
У тебя за ушком!
Therein lies the difference between us. Thieves make precious things disappear, but only magicians make them reappear. If I could now invite you all to check your clothes...
A surprise? Let me see!
Вау! Да ты прям вообще... Вау!
What an outstanding trick! Sorry, Lini, it seems that my...
Don't worry, I didn't take offense. I
Это
just
всё
wanted to
монтаж,
take
это
the
всё неправда.
opportunity to... Perhaps since Caesar's death, a lot of people associate magicians with criminality.
I can imagine. Coming back to your trick just now, for example, magicians often use rainbow roses in their flower-related performances to represent... But you used a Lumi-Do spell, which, if I'm not mistaken, allude to separations.
Impressive knowledge. It's no wonder you're such a successful journalist. But I'm afraid I don't know the first thing about... It sounds like something I should look into, though.
Well noted. In that case, this brings us to the end of our interview. Please feel free to get in touch to update me on any further developments. Otherwise, I will of course see you at your show in 3 days' time. But let's hope the Phantom Weasel is caught by... If there's nothing else, I'll be off. You've given me lots to work with here, and I've got no time...
Goodbye.
So, Lini...
I'm...
well, magicians aren't... You feel it too, right? So itchy!
Да никак, он тебя просто... наебал.
Not so itchy then, huh?
Зачем ты задумал микрофон? Ты что, вообще придурок?
Well, since you're so concerned, how would you like to serve as my temporary magician's assistant?
Magician's assistants? Oh, that sounds fun! Assistants are technically magicians. Also, it'll bring us one step closer to figuring out how that darn trick is done. Shall we go for it?
The first thing we need to look into is who Caesar really was. If he truly was the Phantom Weasel, that means that the Weasel is dead, and whoever wrote this warning letter is just a copycat criminal.
Блин, цветок пропал.
But if he wasn't the Weasel? Well, and if we're investigating Caesar, his fiancée Gemma is a good place to start. Word is that we should make a move. Let's go and rendezvous
Нет,
with
там просто
Lynette.
ракурс такой, что его не видно. Прощальный подарок. В смысле прощальный? В смысле прощальный? Ты чё, офигел? Опа. А. Что они на кладбище делают? Поминают, что ли?
You took your time.
Sorry, I bumped into the Traveler and
It's been a while, Lynette. We're working as Linny's temporary assistants in the
Thank you. It's good to have you helping.
So, what's the situation?
Nope. I've been here a while.
How bizarre. Well, we won't get anywhere by standing around waiting. Traveler.
Бальтазар. По-моему, немного расстроен.
Excuse me, good sir.
Gemma? You mean Caesar's fiance?
I'm just trying to get a hold of her because I need...
Yeah, she does. Poor thing. Ever since Caesar passed away, she's been coming here once every week to... I asked her what she was doing once. She said she knows he's gone and can't hear her from the grave, but she just likes to...
And she's been doing this ever since Caesar passed away.
I'll bet. Caesar's reputation fell apart after his identity was revealed. I don't know if the mind lives on in the waters after death, but if it does, if I'm honest, I think this is all so unfair to poor Gemma. Her fiancé was a low-life crook. Anyway, all of that said, she's running later than usual today. Normally, she'd... Well, that's everything I know, I'm afraid. You might have more...
All right, well, thanks for sharing all of...
You're welcome. I just hope she'll be able to...
I'll wait for you here and see if Gemma...
Вот это у нее, конечно, чоботы.
Did you hear the news? They're saying the Phantom Weasel's back.
You're kidding.
I don't know anymore. All sorts of news. But what if? Just hypothetically, I mean. What?
Called it. Seriously, 10 years ago, on the day it all went down, I said to my...
Oh, please. Weren't you the one cursing his name to high heaven when the police...
Wait, did I say that?
Ну ты
I
лицемер,
don't seem
челик.
to recall.
Hello there. Sorry for disturbing you. We're actually quite interested in this topic as well, but we're struggling to get to the bottom of it.
You've come to the right people. Yep. He was a great magician. The best trick I ever saw him do was pop a transparent... I was right up close and didn't blink or look away once. But...
I saw him perform too. He always used to bring some... Sometimes, he even got the kids to write their wishes down. And... But after he died, there were also rumors that he used the wish... As I'm sure you know, the Phantom...
Whatever the case, now that the weasel is back, I bet Gemma must be pleased. No, speak of the devil. That's her over there. If you've got any more questions about Caesar.
So that's Gemma. Wait. It look...
Ой, блин, надо добить ее быстрее, ребят, бежим.
Who's asking?
Don't be afraid, we mean no... It looks like you're in.
Thanks for your concern. But you didn't answer my
My name is Lini, and this.
My name's Paimon, and this here's the Traveler. We're investigating.
The Weasel posted a warning letter this morning. If he still lives, that means that Caesar was falsely accused. You knew Caesar better than anyone else. So if you're willing, I promise you can trust us. We won't hurt.
I never
Huh. I suspected as much.
No.
Got it. All right.
If you don't have any more questions, please leave. I want.
Judging by the look on her face, there's definitely something fishy about.
She's lying. She definitely knows something.
That's fair. We're just a bunch of strangers who showed up and started In any case, I doubt we'll get any further here, so let's call it a day.
My time with the Spina has taught me that carrying an unreliable weapon is worse than not carrying one at all. I do love Spina di Rosula's logo. It was designed by my mother. Have you noticed how it's shaped like a heart? My time with the Spina has taught me that carrying an unreliable weapon is worse than not carrying one at all. want to go traveling. I don't mind where we go, as long as I have my friends with me. Oh. 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 I do love Spina di Rosula's logo. It was designed by my mother. Have you noticed how it's shaped like a heart? I really want to go traveling. I don't mind where we go, as long as I have my friends with me. love Spina di Rosula's logo. It was designed by my mother. Have you noticed how it's shaped like a heart? I really want to go traveling. I don't mind where we go, as long as I have my friends with me. My time with the Spina has taught me that carrying an unreliable weapon is worse than not carrying one at all. I really want to go traveling. I don't mind where we go, as long as I have my friends with me. I do love Spina di Rosula's logo. It was designed by my mother. Have you noticed how it's shaped like a heart? Oh. Oh. My time with the Spina has taught me that carrying an unreliable weapon is worse than not carrying one at all. Oh. Oh. I really want to go traveling. I don't mind where we go, as long as I have my friends with me. Oh. Oh. My time with the Spina has taught me that carrying an unreliable weapon is worse than not carrying one at all. Oh. Oh. I really want to go traveling. I don't mind where we go, as long as I have my friends with me. Oh. My time with the Spina has taught me that carrying an unreliable weapon is worse than not carrying one at all. I really want to go traveling. I don't mind where we go, as long as I have my friends with me. My time with the Spina has taught me that carrying an unreliable weapon is worse than not carrying one at all. I do love Spina di Rosula's logo. It was designed by my mother. Have you noticed how it's shaped like a heart? My time with the Spina has taught me that carrying an unreliable weapon is worse than not carrying one at all. I really want to go traveling. I don't mind where we go, as long as I have my friends with me. Oh. Oh. I do love Spina di Rosula's logo. It was designed by my mother. Have you noticed how it's shaped like a heart? Oh. Oh. My time with the Spina has taught me that carrying an unreliable weapon is worse than not carrying one at all. Oh. Oh. I do love Spina di Rosula's logo. It was designed by my mother. Have you noticed how it's shaped like a heart? Oh. Oh. I really want to go traveling. I don't mind where we go, as long as I have my friends with me. Finally, the rain has stopped. love Spina di Rosula's logo. It was designed by my mother. Have you noticed how it's shaped like a heart?
Так, я тут.
Over here.
Lynette's not joining us today?
I've had her follow Gemma and see if we can make any inroads with... Still, I don't think that Gemma's like... Today, we'll be looking into a guy named Lorenzo. When Caesar passed away, all the stolen goods discovered in his home were confiscated and returned to their rightful owners. But before long, Lorenzo was the next big magician in town, his fame surpassing even that of his master, and it made him very wealthy. He's since left the magic scene, though, and these days, he's a wealthy... I had to pull a lot of strings, but I managed to get him to agree to a couple of drinks with me. Be warned, though, I hear...
You neglected to mention that...
My apologies. These two are my assistants. When they heard that I was meeting with the former magic maestro...
Oh, forget the pleasantries, just sit.
Get a load of this guy. Forget the pleasantries, he's...
I only agreed to meet since we're both magicians. Do me a favor and cut...
Much obliged, sir. As it happens, the matter I want to... Yesterday morning, a warning letter from the Phantom Weasel appeared on the entrance to the Opera House. He claims I have to get to the bottom of this to ensure that my show can go ahead as planned. Naturally, any investigation...
What is there to investigate? Caesar was the Weasel, and he's been dead for 10 years. So what if some sick creep thought it'd be funny?
Please, sir, no need to get so worked up.
Possibility, it's a fact, Lini. The Weasel is dead. Period. Everyone knows that.
Oh, sir, I'm... my pride as a magician is what's at stake here, Lorenzo.
Your pride? Don't mince words with me.
I want to find out the Phantom Weasel's true identity.
What would that accomplish? And what do the events of 10 years ago have to do with you, anyway? Look, you have all...
Uh-oh. This is...
Lorenzo? Is that? Oh, it is you!
Another day, I'm busy.
Oh, come on! You can't be all business all the time. You know what they say? Live fast, die young.
If I wanted your life advice, I'd ask for it. Now get...
Sorry, my good sir. I don't believe I've had the...
Oh, hey! This is your first time meeting him? Oh, he's always like this. And he wonders why he can't get a girlfriend, despite being, what, pushing 40, 30, something? Anyway.
Shut up and get out of my face. Another word out of you and you can forget about doing business with me ever again. Do I make myself clear?
Sorry, I may have had a little too much to drink. All right.
I think it's high time I made a move as well. If you really want to investigate this, Lini, be my guest. But if nothing good comes of it, don't say I didn't warn you.
Well, that fell to pieces in a rather spectacular fashion.
А потом
Any
оказывается, что
thoughts?
этот, короче, мужик и есть горностай.
Totally. And what was all that about He's gotta be hiding something.
I think so too. We need to look into that guy Edmondo seems to know a thing or two about him. He only just left. Let's see if we can catch up with him. You okay there?
Do you need help?
Who are you? Oh, it's you guys. Don't I say way too much back there, didn't I? Yeah, I nearly talked myself into.
So he was serious about threatening to cut.
Hey! Don't go prying into Lorenzo's personal affair.
What kind of bad?
Don't even ask. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to cut this conversation short. I'm not. And take it from me, trouble with Lorenzo is one thing you don't need in your life. You some flare up back there. I don't know what you said to him, but clearly that's not a good sign. You're too young for this.
And there he goes.
Shh. I think we're being watched. Someone was Don't say anything and don't look back. Any altercation in the city will attract the...
И куда этот мужик пропал? На окраину. Ох ты ж, септа. Вот это так далеко, конечно. Пуру-пуру-пуру-пум. Бегу, я бегу.
You followed us a long way. Why don't you come out and introduce yourself?
So you're Lini. And where's your sister?
Чё за
Ain't
мужики
she
в
with you today?
костюмах? Из матрицы сбежали.
Save us the trouble and go fetch her for us.
Paimon doesn't like the tone of your voice, mister. Who
Блин,
sent you,
пацаны
huh?
такие самоуверенные, конечно.
Save your questions, missy. You ain't gonna need answers where you're going.
Looks like we can... Now, I'm not the strongest fighter, so I hope you're ready to back me up.
Не, ну пацаны, куда вы лезете?
Don't worry, we got this.
Одна ульта и вот
Let the world collide! Teamwork is dreamwork!
Все.
Curses. They're tougher than we thought.
Vision wielders are always trouble. Intimidation ain't gonna work like it.
Come on, let's scram!
Hey, wise guys!
Конечно же, мы дадим им просто так уйти, и не поймаем их, и не дадим этим, как их там, я забыл, жандрамам.
They got away! Did you catch what they said just before? Sounds like they just wanted to rough us up as a scare tactic. And they've already done it to someone else,
Наверное,
but...
да, ей, у нее же рука была раненая.
You're right. She was injured when we... Maybe she was too scared to...
Well, if that's the case,
А вот эти
she should
мужики,
be more
кто
willing to
вообще
open up to us
подозвал
when she
просто
learns
такого,
that those thugs won't be bothering
с
her
которым только
anymore.
что разговаривали в этой... в помещении вот там.
Let's head back to the cafe and see if we...
Ой, Линет, привет.
Gemma?
You again.
We just ran into the men who've been threatening, so...
What? Why?
Sounds like...
That's putting it mildly. I know them all too well, and I hate them with every fiber of my being. It's been 10 long years, And still, every time I try to look into Caesar's death, how do I
Все
know I
ясно,
can
короче,
trust
тот
you?
мужик
Do you
подосал их,
really think you
короче,
can get to the bottom of it
чтоб
all?
никто ничего не разузнал.
And why are you doing
Короче,
this?
тот мужик и оказывается горностаем.
I'm afraid I can't reveal all the details just yet, but I can promise you this. Because you see, this is a...
Okay.
I've heard that Caesar used to have a magic workshop where he kept a lot of his... Do you know where it is?
The Fleuve Cendre. But the place was sealed. I also know that the Fleuve Cendre is dangerous territory. Lots of hostile groups.
Understood. Lynette, you stay here and take...
Got
Да не
it.
ссы, подруга.
But if I'm staying here, I'm ordering just...
I mean, bon appetit. But stay sharp,
Bon
too.
appetit.
They're likely to come for you while I'm away.
Okay. All right. Power saving mode off. I'll start taking this more serious.
Пайман бака. Лини бака. Травелер бака. Современный бака. Вспомнил там из сюжетки. Не сюжетки или Задание Легенд сходить. Мне капец немножко грязно.
If Gemma gave us the right location, then the workshop should be right nearby. Huh. Looks like these boxes are... There we go. It should be just down...
О, как круто получилось. Let's go, guys. Эх. Ах. Да блин.
So this was Caesar's workshop. Nothing suspicious here, just normal
Ёб твою
magic
налево.
packs. What's that inverted?
Ой, как круто получилось, однако. Что-то расчихался.
What was that? Oh, is this one of Caesar's gadgets? Guess we must have triggered some sort of device.
So long as the audience thinks that seeing is believing, there's no limit to the number of tricks I can pull off. what my dear sister Lynette is doing right now. Missing me to death, I'm sure.
Ой, ничего, расчекался. Сколько можно?
Shower me with this! Out of the frying pan, into the fire!
Let's light it up!
Whoa. Look. The doll in the box is glowing. There's something written on the card on the doll. Let's take a close...
The shelving.
These magic boxes are moving. What do we do?
One of them looks different from the rest. Let's investigate.
Got it. We're supposed to find the box that lit up at the start, right? There should be another wish list inside. Let's keep trying.
So long as the audience thinks that seeing is believing, there's no limit to the number of tricks I can pull off. I wonder what my dear sister Lynette is doing right now. Missing me to death, I'm sure. So long as the audience thinks that seeing is believing, there's no limit to the number of tricks I can pull off.
Ой. Ой.
That's weird. Have we reached the end already? There's nothing here. Maybe this was a wasted trip.
This place seems a little too ordinary for a magician. We've triggered quite a few devices on the way here. If so, then there must be more to this place than meets the eye. Maybe a hidden room somewhere. Aha! If I just move this...
A secret passageway!
I'm a magician too, and apparently looks pretty big inside. Let's head in and take a...
Как говорится, рыбака видит издалека. В случае с Лини тут фокусника видит. Ну и 6 сказал. Ладно, не важно.
You're toast! Nice and spiced! Everybody stand back!
And what? Stay calm, stay calm. Here comes the finale. Now disappear.
Why have you stopped, Lini? Is there...
It just looks familiar somehow. Let me check this out for a second while you guys go on ahead. If anyone makes a major discovery...
All right.
Изи. Даже не напрягся.
At one of my shows a few days ago, a child asked as a joke. I told the kid that the hat has a built-in wish-granting machine. Next thing I know, today a whole bunch of kids were pestered, so I told them another white lie. The machine needs time to power up, but in the meantime, you can write your wish. I wound up saving very little this month, but that's not a major issue. 2 children came to talk to me after today's show. I don't know why they were out on their own. Anyway, they said that they wanted me to teach them how to do magic. It's not uncommon for children to ask this, of course, but I've never seen any of them as serious about it as these 2. I told them that learning magic is very hard work, but that didn't faze them at all. It's like they already knew. They seemed so committed. It seems like something's bothering Lorenzo lately, but he won't. Surely he's not upset that I agreed to teach those 2 children. I have a good feeling about those kids. They have all sorts of fantastic ideas. All I'm really doing is helping them develop a more professional. They wanted to call me master, but I told them they absolutely mustn't. Any magician worth their salt could have taught them what I have. With time, I have no doubt that they could become far greater magicians than I. Gemma thinks so too. She doesn't like being around them. Says that their eyes are too piercing. They don't bother me, but then again, it's nearly time for me to go on tour. I asked the 2 kids. I once overheard them talking about their father and their mission. Sounds like their parents have other plans. It's only been 10 days since I first met them, but they're very tough, but also very cautious. And they trust they hide things from me too. For example, when I ask them where they live, and that's the thing about children. Whenever they're trying to cover something up, I can sense that their lives have been hard. Possibly even dangerous too. After thinking things over, I decided to tell them a bit about how I see the world. It's full. P.S. I hope they won't find my nagging annoying. Children are so opinionated nowadays. Will it do them? P.P.S. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Children aren't interested in grand philosophies. It probably oh, Caesar, Caesar. Just mind your own business next time.
2 magic geniuses with a father and a mission, huh? Sounds a lot like he was writing about Lini and Lynette, don't you think? So did they meet Caesar when they were kids? Let's go.
Hold that thought. As I expect...
Fishy?
All in good time. Before we go over our new leads, I want to tell... First, the magician slots themselves into a magic box in full view of the audience. At this point, a dummy will fall out of the box, but it looks real enough to grab the audience's attention. Meanwhile, the real magician, who has by now blended into the crowd... Wait, oh no! Is that me? Did I just fall to my...
Very vivid description.
The audience's gaze then turns to the magician, and by the time they realize what's happened, the dummy has vanished. Of course, that's just how I think the inventor of this trick never performed it successfully. When the box opened, Caesar was he fell right to the ground from the highest point of the opera house. No one could hope to survive that fall, and no one else has ever attempted this trick since. My understanding of how it works...
So Caesar's famous high-altitude escape has never... Paimon was about to say how cool it would have been to see it in person, but if it's that dangerous, it's probably for... Wait a second. So if a dummy's supposed to drop out of the box, then where does the real
Glad you asked. That brings us to the secret. This box right here is the one that Caesar constructed himself to use in the performance. And it's not as once the magician's inside and the box is lifted up into the air, from where they're standing, they have a clear view of the front, sides, and bottom. But the back and the top are not. At this point, the magician presses a button inside the box, opening a secret door. He then escapes through this trap door onto the opera house roof, waits for the dummy to
That's way simpler than Paimon imagined.
Well, there's a little more to it than that, of course. The hardest part of this trick is control. There's the falling dummy, the miraculous reappearance, the pompous performing. Maybe the magician would even have themselves tied up before it begins. Many days and nights of careful research and painstaking practice would have gone into this, all culminating in a performance just a few minutes long. Caesar was a highly accomplished magician.
So, how did it go so wrong? You said you found some fish.
I can make a I looked into the case files. The magic box Caesar was using at the time of his death had the secret button I mentioned positioned on the right-hand side. And sure enough, he always used his...
Okay.
But here's the strange thing. Most of the devices in this workshop have the mechanism on the left-hand side, including this box right here. Which leads me because a magician can't afford to have their most basic habits stand out too much. People naturally focus there, but a magician needs to be able to redirect an audience's the essence of magic is getting people to believe a lie. If even the truth raises eyebrows, the falsehoods, and so, Caesar trained himself to use his right hand to align with his audience's expectations. Great magic always requires sacrifices. But in his most stressful and nerve-wracking moments, and when no one was watching, reflex would kick in and he'd use his left hand. That's why he said his gadgets would... Exactly. I think that's likely what happened. Caesar would have been under a lot of time pressure during the escape. He'd have had mere seconds to open the hidden compartment, retrieve the dummy, then open the secret door and make a swift... But I'm sure he was confident. He would have rehearsed countless times to the point where it was second nature. He'd barely... So he opened the compartment, took out the dummy, checked everything was in order, and then went to leave. With his left hand, he reached for the button, and suddenly, his heart... Much like when you reach for your keys but find your pocket empty, instinctively, his left hand would keep feeling around for the missing button. Maybe for... With the stakes being as high as they were, just a 2-second delay cost him everything. The authorities would find nothing suspicious, and
When in reality, someone But how would they be able to make...
It would have to have been someone who knew that he was left-handed, and who could move his props. Isn't that right?
You just couldn't let sleeping dogs lie, could you?
Я так и знал, что это он. С самого начала было понятно потом, как он с нами общался.
There's not a lot of people who'd go to all this trouble for some magician who died 10 years ago. I didn't want to have to do this, but I gave you your chance. I hoped you'd do what's good for you and back off like the lady, but...
You mean Gemma? So...
Yes, although however stubborn she might be, she was never much of a... Which is why you can't leave this place.
Do your...
Лучше бы ты не приходил, мужик.
Strike a pose! Everybody stand back!
Step right up! A round of applause! Now disappear!
Going in! Let's light it up! Let the world come alive! Stop that!
Had enough yet, Lorenzo? Your cronies can't help you now. I think it's high time you started talking, and...
If I had a mora for every time you said that man's name. He was just an amateur who did cheap tricks for gullible children. I was the one who made magic into the fine art it is today.
So it was...
Jealousy. hatred, more like. He poured everything into his street performances and his stupid tours like it was just a hobby to him. But the people loved him, didn't they? Oh, how they looked up to him. No one gave amazing. Yeah, so amazing that he was completely broke. Every other apprentice was living it up at their master's expense, but no, not me. I put in all the work, mastered all the skills, and he forbade me from using magic to trick people out. And with his reputation in Fontaine, it was too risky for me to go it alone. As long as he was alive, if I had to kill him. There was...
And this was your...
It was reason enough. What other...
Well, I was under the impression that there might have been other factors at play.
In love with Gemma, don't be...
Guess I was wrong about that then.
I am. Caesar was so strict with me. I never bought into any of that. I was more interested in the practical value of magic. Sure enough, it helped me fill my pockets with all kinds...
Oh, yeah! Charlotte told us that the weasel would steal whatever people valued, no matter...
That's just how it looked from the outside. What would any thief... I stole cheap things as a way of practicing my craft.
So, that's the story, huh?
What choice do I have? You're a pack of wolves, and you've got me between your... So be it. I've enjoyed power and wealth for the last 10 years. The likes of which...
Very well. In that traveler, Paimon, keep an eye on Lorenzo for me.
At least I can finally...
Это было прям сильно предсказуемо, что он кажется этим горностаем.
Lini has told me the whole... Lorenzo, do you confess to the murder of Caesar and to
Look who's What kind of disciple murders their own master? I hope it was worth it. Because there'll be hell to pay.
15 лет. Даже, наверное, больше ему дадут.
Looks like it's all over. What should we do next, Lini? Should we...
Let's rendezvous with Lynette and Gemma first. With Lorenzo...
Good point! We should go tell Gemma...
А что это такое? Нет, так это задание этого мира. Блин. А, это не, ну какую улику? Все, давайте потом. Поехали налево.
Ah, you're back. You were so quick. I've only just finished my third dessert.
Your third? Lynette, come on, we've talked about this. Everything in moderation.
It's fine. I'll shift to exercise mode and jog off the excess sugar.
That's besides the point. Well...
Did everything go okay?
Ну ты Лини душнила, блин.
Of course! Lorenzo was no match for...
Gosh, that's amazing. I had my suspicions about Lorenzo, but
It's okay. We understand. He did threaten, but you don't need to be scared.
Sorry. Sorry. I always wanted to report Lorenzo. He took all of Caesar's property, which I found suspicious. I was so afraid. I was scared he'd do something terrible to me. And then, thank you all.
Да не за что, мать.
Thank you all for clearing Caesar's name. I never would have guessed that Lorenzo was the real Phantom Weasel. He never showed any... to think that lowlife's been living life to the fullest all this time. At least his soul can finally rest in peace now.
If only I'd realized...
Don't blame yourself, Gemma.
Yeah, you still have the rest of your life to live. Caesar...
Cheer up, Gemma. My brother's doing a magic show at the Opera House tomorrow evening. Would you like... This show will be a special one.
In Caesar's honor. Thank you. I'll be there.
Great. We'll see you tomorrow evening. Traveler, pipe...
Don't worry, we'll be there. No way are we gonna... Wait. Paimon feels like we're forgetting something. Oh yeah, Caesar's diary! We never found out if the two kids Caesar taught magic to were Lini and Lynette or not.
Возможно, это они есть. Скорее всего, что
Lini
возможно.
changed the topic back in the workshop, so we didn't get a chance to bring it up.
Что это?
Oh well. Guess we'll just have to ask Lini tomorrow evening.
Скорее всего, это так и есть, потому что, ну... Лини что-то чересчур заинтересовался этим делом. Плюс там еще упоминался отец, и тем более их было двое, поэтому очевидно то, что это они у него очень с фокусом.
Finally, the rain has stopped. The show begins!
That's all there is, but I just want our child to be safe and sound.
Сейчас будет катсцена, наверное, скорее всего. Ну и Шарлотта тут.
Paimon's excited to see another of Lini's magic shows! Wait.
Not this time. My brother's... So, I'll be watching with you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope the great magician Lini has prepared a spectacular show for us all tonight.
Wow!
Наверное, тот самый, который пытался выполнить этот Сезар или как ему, но, к сожалению, неудачно для него получился этот трюк.
Thank you all so much for coming. Now, prepare to join me on a journey.
Exciting stuff.
Yes, it's just...
No wonder. Caesar was a famous... So, how did you two...
Well, I was out on children love magic because they're willing to believe in things that can't be rationally explained. And somehow, I felt drawn to him too.
Aw, that sounds...
It was with a flower. He took it in his hand. I was so...
Oh, that's so cute!
Is that right? Then I suppose he's a romantic at heart, just like Caesar. After all, you never know when the people dearest...
That's right. Paimon doesn't really know how to comfort you, but...
Right. Yes, you can breathe easy now.
See? Even Lynette says, the Phantom Weasel! Lorenzo escaped? Where is he?
What do you mean,
As Lini once said, a performer's job is to commit fully to their role and put on a flawless performance for their audience. But once the bag of tricks is empty and the curtain falls, it's time to end. It's been 10 years, Gemma. Aren't you tired of...
What are you talking about? Traveler, Paimon doesn't like where this is going. Come on, say something!
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all... There will now be a brief intermission, after which the final performance will take place outside of the Opera House. So please make your way...
The Phantom Weasel never did like public place. Don't worry, this place will be...
Dear me, this is awkward, isn't it? And unfortunately, I'm all out of gadgets, so I'm afraid this is a big mistake for a magician to make. But thankfully,
Lini? Lynette accused Gemma of being the real Phantom Weasel a moment ago. Oh, what the heck's going on?
Что?
All in good time. Magicians are good at guessing what people are thinking.
Really? Well then, let's hear it.
Типа она крала, потому что у Цезаря не было денег, поэтому она, короче, решила ему помочь деньгами, чтобы они у него были, да. Но и при этом не говорила ему об этом.
Let's go back to the very beginning. A decade ago, when the Phantom Weasel was terrorizing the court of Fontaine, But as her infamy grew, so did the readiness of the police, and her opportunities to act became ever fewer. Every day, she ran the risk of being exposed for who she was. Of course, she could not simply take this lying down, and before long, she found her ticket to freedom. She would create a scapegoat, a false weasel to close the chapter on her behalf. After weighing her options, she set her sights on a renowned magician, Caesar. After all, magic...
So being the master deceiver she was, the weasel easily earned Caesar's trust. Now, all that remained was to frame him for her countless crimes.
Подожди, что?
But as she was considering how to make her move, she noticed Caesar's aggrieved pupil, and a new thought, and at her encouragement, Lorenzo tampered with Caesar's magic box, causing him to fall to his death. Afterwards, Lorenzo seized his master's property, and the weasel set about tarnishing Caesar's reputation. Two co-conspirators committed the perfect crime.
Что? Ах ты, сука, ебаная, старая карга, блядь.
I've got to hand it to you. You're both exceptional, but I just have one question. You seem to think that I am the—
Don't worry, Lorenzo, but I never believed that he was the weasel. And in fact, my investigation only made me more certain of that.
How disappointing. So you'd sooner trust Lorenzo than me? Even without a shred of evidence?
A magician is an expert at playing the audience to get the result they want. And I have, with a little help from Lorenzo, you put on a very convincing... Caesar was maligned and hated by all
Я
for
в
10
шоке
years, but
просто.
you?
Я вообще этого
Everyone
не ожидал.
sympathized with your plight.
Ебать, это меня наебали.
Who would suspect for
Вот
one
это да.
second that the lovely young lady always seen weeping in front of Caesar's grave was actually the mastermind behind his
Ебать,
demise?
тварь просто.
No, not
Старая,
that poor
блядь,
lady.
такая.
Oh, perish the thought.
Бля, какая же ты тварь ебаная, это просто пиздец.
Wait. So you mean the whole but why would Lorenzo agree to that?
охуеть.
And why didn't he sell her out even at the end instead of admitting to being the weasel himself?
Пиздец.
Yes, why indeed? Maybe Gemma herself could enlighten us on that question.
Давай, рассказывай, старая, блядь.
Well, Lini, if you're so having killed Caesar with his own hands, Lorenzo was plagued by overwhelming guilt. Revealing the Phantom Weasel's true identity would serve no purpose. But if the weasel remained
An excellent answer. Though sadly...
Is that right? Well, don't let me...
As a matter of fact, there's one thing I'd really like to understand.
Охуеть, я просто в шоке, нахуй. Я до сих пор не могу отойти от того, как меня наебали жестко.
Why would the real weasel have targeted things that only have value to others?
Of course. After all, if I had to guess... Left to fend for herself after her parents died young.
Да мне похуй, какое у тебя детство, блядь. Ты вообще уёбище такое, нахуй. Ты, блядь, так подставила мужика. Это просто ужас. Даже если сейчас ее сделать так, то что типа она жертва, то мне поебать вообще, блядь. В тот факт, то, что она просто, ну, мразь, ну, никак не отменяет тот факт, то, что она мразь просто. Гнилая, блядь.
She'd scrounge waste paper from garbage bins to draw on, using
Да,
twigs
но
and
это не
dirt
повод,
for lack
блядь,
of
убивать
ink and pen.
человека.
She'd sew ugly rag dolls from
Пизда.
whatever scrap material she could get her hands on.
Она подстрекала этого додика. Тот умер. Про дело забыли. Сделав так, что Цезарь оказал... Ну, подумали, что Цезарь этот горностай. Потом оказалось, что, короче, он... Ебать, короче, я не могу. Просто мне это в голове не укладывается все.
This was her only source of happiness in life. But it was all she needed. Once again, she was betrayed. And this time, everything was taken from her. She felt like this was a fate too cruel for anyone to bear. Her pain became a breeding ground for dark thoughts. Thoughts which festered and grew into a twisted solution to her troubles.
Просто женщина, блядь, ей не в тюрьму, ей в психушку нахуй надо лечиться.
I detest the happiness of
Дурку.
others, in all its forms alike.
Это просто охуевшая, блядь, обиженная на весь мир тварь, блядь.
I will rob them of everything they hold to be good and true. And it will fill
Проломите
the
кто-то
void in
голову,
my soul.
пожалуйста.
That's some pretty heavy stuff.
Какая нахуй грустная, блядь.
Now it all makes...
Does this story satisfy you, Lini?
Yes, it is quite to my tastes. Thank you for helping to...
Huh. That's right. Because without that, none of this would have ever...
She didn't write the letter.
After 10 long years, I'd hoped that the Phantom Weasel would be consigned to the history... Lini? Or should I call you the Phantom Copycat now? You were the one who posted that letter outside the Opera House.
Капец, какой Лини гений.
But why?
Very sharp, Phantom Weasel. Still as shrewd as ever. Well, no need for me to be coy about it. Our goal was to... The most straightforward way to change the public's impression of Caesar was to force the Weasel to show themselves.
That's it?
Там что я там...
You had no...
Что-то прощелкал.
Of course we did. We made it quite clear in the letter, I believe. I shall take from you that which you hope...
10 years ago? Wait. Oh, I get it. You were those two obnoxious kids. It's been so long,
Мерзкие.
and you're all grown up now.
Если они настучат бате,
I
что
didn't
ты называешь
recognize
их
you.
мерзкими, я тебе говорю, мать. Она тебе жопу разорвет нахуй.
He taught you magic back then, didn't he? For what, 10 days or something? And you went to all this trouble. Why? Because you feel...
We remember all our debts 10 years ago. Caesar's reputation was torn to shreds, and his legacy was thrown out. 10 years on, but we did not forget.
And? What exactly did you take from me? I'm still standing.
Free? Caesar once told me that even though the world is filled with lies and falsehoods, we must... I think that applies to you too. Truth can take many forms. Prized possessions with nostalgic value, fervent hopes and dreams, and irreplaceable people. Life took many things from you, and those wounds never healed. When they ached unbearably in the dead of night, stealing became your...
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that for the last 10 years, you've been living a rather uneventful life. Perhaps that's back to Lorenzo for a second. He murdered his own master, played along with your act, and took pains to... He knew who you were and the things you'd done, and despite that, he was willing to give everything up for your sake. He's the reason that you haven't felt the compulsion to steal in all these years.
Когда сказал этому... Как его, блин, забыл, Лоренцо, что... Ну, короче, он питал к ней чувства, он оказался прав, реально. Блядь, ебать, Лини все продумал, как он, блядь, все это продумал, я в ахуе. Тут даже бы Хейд охуел, я думаю. Ебать. Ебать, Лини просто я в ахуе, что он творит. Он так все продумал. Ого.
You're more than just accomplices in murder. You're the only real friends each other has. But that truth is gone now. And I guarantee you...
Congratulations on your freedom, Gemma.
Your freedom will cost you dearly. From now on, you'll be...
Gather round, one and all. The time has now come for the... I'm sure you're all wondering what he has planned for the grand...
A high-altitude escape?
I'm sure you all remember the magician Caesar. This was the very trick that led to his fatal... But we have now learned that Caesar was wrongly accused.
Guess that's my cue to leave. Whew, Traveler, Paimon, I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. There may be a lot of people watching tonight, but you alone are my true
Я вообще не
witnesses.
ожидал, что она все это построит.
Lini, wait. You two hid a lot from Caesar. He went to his grave without ever knowing your secrets. You don't have to tell lies to end up isolated and alone. One day, you'll end up exactly where I am.
You're wrong. I'm nothing like you.
So,
Like Lini said, when you're ready, let's head out.
But what about Jenna?
She'll figure out what's best for her soon enough. Oh, and if you'd like to see Lini after the
All right. Well, let's go.
Ничего из этого ничего не будет?
Sometimes I think I'm like a gambling addict. By the time I come to my senses...
This one's got your name on it!
Magicians are not like thieves. Thieves only tear things apart. But
Magic should be mysterious, surprising, and defy logic. Magic is hard work. Every single movement has to be practiced thousands of times.
It's alright. We're used to that.
Маленькая Линет. Милота.
We're sorry. You've taught us so much, but we can't tell you the whole truth.
It's okay. Do you still remember what I told you? This world is full of lies and falsehoods. I only hope that one day you can find your own truth.
What about you? Have you found your truth?
Magic is my truth. I want to perform a magic trick so great that people will always think of me when they talk about it. For a magician, what greater honor could there be?
Look! Behold! Lini is sealed inside the box. Will he manage to escape? 10 years ago, Caesar attempted this very trick, and it was at this precise moment that...
Watch out!
Mysterious. Surprising. And logic-defying. Isn't that right? This honor belongs to you, Caesar. I'm just sorry it's a little late.
Did you see that? 1 minute he was falling, and the next, he turned into flowers.
How could he possibly have done that?
How mysterious. I didn't blink once. He just vanished.
What a heart-stopping magic show! This was really Caesar's name has finally been cleared, and Fontaine's new star magician Lini has fulfilled a wish on his behalf. Oh,
Whew. Looks like everyone really loved Lini's grand finale. Paimon doesn't see Lini anywhere. Oh, Lynette said he'd be waiting for us at the usual hunt. But, oh, you mean the one where... Yeah, that's probably it. This whole magic show kinda seems... Alright, let's go look for him there.
Да. Не, ну, задание Легенд Лини реально меня вот удивило. мягко говоря. Я не ожидал такого. Я думал, я уже такой умный, все прочитал уже. Оказывается, нет.
Lini! There you are. Are you alright? Paimon was scared to death when the chain—
Magic is a performance art. A magician has to get creative to keep the audience on tenterhooks. I was honestly a little nervous during the live performance. The thought of falling, sometimes I can't help but wonder, did he regret taking Gemma and Lorenzo on? Or...
You know, Paimon's been wanting to ask you about something ever since we were in—
After I joined the House of the Hearth. To be honest, Lynette and I told you about my past before, remember? As a young boy, I survived by secretly learning magic from street performers, but I quickly realized that observation alone could only get me so far. What I saw was the polished final performance. I needed to learn how to improve my sleight of hand, hone my misdirection. We were gifted enough that we'd made some progress by ourselves, but without proper guidance.
So that's why you sought Caesar out?
Да.
Yes. We figured there was no harm in asking. But in all, we only spent 10 short days together, but he was very good to us. For instance, when he asked why I wanted to learn magic, I answered, but in truth, there was already a lot more to the story by then. After being taken in by an aristocrat for our magic talent, then betrayed. What amazed me was how the lie escaped my lips even as I was hesitating over whether to tell him the trust is a beautiful thing.
Lini...
Still worried about the way I feel? But don't worry, I'm used to it now. From the mansions of the elite to the House of the Hearth, lies and selfishness have followed me. After Caesar went on tour, we became busy with our missions. The next we heard of him was that he'd fallen to his death, and was now that night. I remembered his smile. To keep secrets is to put up walls. The longer you keep them up, the less you let people in. Then, one day, you look around, and you only realize how much someone really meant to you when you lose them completely. That's why I was so confident this would hurt Gemma. Because I felt it for myself.
Yeah, cheer up, Lini. We've had to say our fair share of goodbyes during our journey, too. Delicious food, fun toys, and the Traveler by my side. Paimon, you know, Traveler, doesn't that kind of make you Paimon's truth?
Exactly. It's the same for me and Lynette. We are the truest thing each other has in the world, and life has taken plenty from us like it did from Gemma. But at least it left us with each other. That's why the darkness never consumed me and why it never will. Maybe we live in the shadows too, but we remember every precious ray of light that shines through. All right, time to lighten this conversation up a little.
It was amazing! Paimon just wishes we hadn't been so distracted with the Gemma situation. Lini?
Whoa, that's a bit of a tall order, I'm afraid. The show's just finished, so my sleeves are decided.
Aw, come on! Surely you can think—
Oh, all right then. Watch closely. I have a flower in my hand.
You liar! There's nothing in your hand!
Huh? My goodness, you're right. But I could have sworn I brought one here with me. Okay, try this. Count down with me. 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Now, have another look around. Maybe the flowers appeared somewhere else.
Really? Let's see. Wow, there it is! Oh, this is a different one, but more importantly, Paimon has to know how—
Well, if you want to learn magic, you'll have to—
Fine!
Since you asked so nicely, I'll share one little tip with you. Namely—
Is that it?
Look at the time. We shouldn't linger here too long. Thanks again for coming to see my show. I look forward to seeing you again.
All right, shall we head back now, too? Oh, Paimon can't wait to read the Steambird tomorrow. Paimon bets Lini and Caesar. Let's head to the Steambird's offices tomorrow morning and see what we can—
Ну.
I'm very sorry, Charlotte, but my sister and I are quite busy.
Oh, please, Lini, I'll only take a moment of your time. Huh? What's happening here? I spent all night writing my piece about the Phantom Weasel, but just as dawn broke, I suddenly received news that Caesar's fiancée, Gemma...
That was quick.
Hmm?
Too late, bro.
That was quick, you say? It sounds like I've got...
Whoops.
Ну ты даешь, Пайман. Чиназес.
Aha! My instincts did not lead me astray. You do have something to hide. Gemma turning herself in must have something to do with
Maybe watching my high-altitude escape trick reminded her of a better time with Caesar.
Huh. Okay, then. Wait, no, there must be more to it. If that's... Oh, I remember now. You and Gemma were nowhere to be... Quickfire question! Where did you all go after the show?
Oh, we went to the cemetery and Lini did a private... Actually, glad you mentioned it, because that reminded...
What? I don't recall ever having received a rainbow rose from you myself. Is this supposed to mean that they're more important to you than your own sister?
No, I just,
What the... What now? This is getting...
Seems like this interview wasn't meant to be. Forgive my persistence, but when there's explosive news waiting to be found, I can't turn away. The news about Gemma has already... Apparently, one of the things she said to the guards was that her final wish is to see Lorenzo one last... All right, I guess I'll leave you to...
Lynette? Paimon didn't...
Don't worry, I wasn't...
Oh, really?
Phew. You and me both, Paimon.
Please, take good care of that rainbow rose. I'd be really upset if you lost it.
Окей. Ну, в принципе, задание Легенд прикольное. Мне понравилось. Я думал то, что максимально примитивная и читаемая она будет, но я ошибался. Она меня сильно удивила. Так сказать, впечатлило. Ну, в принципе, все. На этом стрим окончен.